What's going on, everyone? It's your boy LA Styles over here with your other hosts, Coffee and Fee, both in the building.
Good evening.
For
Good
another
evening.
Sunday.
You already know what it is.
On another
Let's
Sunday.
get it.
Another good Sunday. Gonna give Coffee a round of applause today since he getting this lighting situation together. Y'all was on his butt last time. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate
Man,
that.
I had to do a little something.
Watkins was on him too.
My name is Black Knight for a reason.
Fee missed the show, so I think Coffee said she getting deducted.
No,
Coffee want to
You gotta
implement
have
deductions.
fines, man.
So y'all have to talk to Fee. I mean, you have to talk to Coffee on if you take payments and things of that
I
nature.
got nothing to do with that. Everybody else was here.
it was
I
company
got nothing to do
over.
with it. Your company got to understand
Like a personal
business
problem.
becomes before pleasure. You work hard, then you can play hard. You just playing, and you weren't even working. So
She's playing sick sometimes from work.
this is exactly what management be talking about right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to get yourself together.
OG on her. With that said, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are your hosts on another episode of the Postal Blue Podcast. This is episode 9, if I'm not mistaken, or will be episode 9. This was supposed to be episode 7.
Yes.
And then me and Coffee went off on the whole nother thing. So this is the original episode 7 with route adjustments. Now I don't know if you want to add consolidated stations in there, which is a very small part. There's not a ton to talk about. Almost like a budgeting situation, but it is happening in the US that they're trying to get rid of stations. But we'll talk about that on the back end if he still wants to talk about that. This will mainly be about the route adjustments that's coming, most likely to the nation. Right, might not hit every single station because some stations are very small. Some stations only has rural routes. So I just talked to a postmaster the other day, which he's the actual manager, not a postmaster, but he has a postmaster title. He says, "Oh, I ain't gonna tell y'all this." He say, "So right before we get into it, I'm gonna tell y'all what he said." Me and him talk. All right, he was at the station doing the pre-walks for the route adjustments in our station. Right, I forget his name. Somewhere in Lux. I don't know how to spell it. Lux, Wisconsin, or something like that. And
Mario?
Cool well, from the
Was it
conversation,
Mario?
seem to be cool people. I don't know, a taller Caucasian guy?
No, that's what.
Taller white guy?
Mario Black. No, that wasn't Mario.
No. So he say his station, he's a manager, but he has no supervisors. So in his area, and he has 4 routes. He only has 4 routes. He has 1 city route that covers all the city part, and then he has 3 rural routes, and they each cover like 100 miles or something like that. The rural routes, the other 3. He said he has no supervisors, and he the manager. His title there is postmaster. I'm assuming he don't really answer to nobody besides maybe district, which is why he probably have a postmaster title. So it's almost like he's just a postmaster who runs the station because he don't even actually have an actual manager and supervisors. He's kind of like all of the above because he only has 4 routes. Now watch this. He say his routes are already, what's the term he use? Kind of like rated, right? So if they go over, they still only get the pay for what the route is rated. But if they under, they still get the same pay because of what their route is rated. Now, I don't know what branch his people are in and what contract they're in. That's fire. To me, it's fire. That, of course, you can lose pay though if you might be out there doing whatever you're doing and you go over. But it's almost like guaranteed pay. So if Coffee has his 8-hour route, it's 8 hours no matter what. And if Coffee takes 4 hours off of Leonard route because Leonard not there that day, that's 12. Coffee got a guaranteed 12 no matter what time he get done. Bad part is if it take him 14 hours, he still only get paid for 12. But if Coffee can finish it in like 10 hours, he still get paid for 12. He get paid for the 12 no matter what. I don't like that. Has that had a little bit of incentivizations?
I'm gonna tell you why I don't like it, because who is coming up with what each route is rated as? So if that's rated off what my time is, then great, because whatever my time is, that's what I'm gonna get paid for. If it's rated off somebody who would like to who's a runner, that's bad for me. Great for them because they do 8 hours in 5 hours. I do 8 hours in 8 hours, or I do 8 hours in 10 hours, whatever the situation may be. It's bad for the person who is not. Is it the incentive is for you to go faster? That's the incentive.
Well, in his thing, he only has one city route that he said he designed himself. The other is rural routes. So you do more driving than it is deliveries because you just driving around so many farmlands. So I wouldn't assume that they got a lot of deliveries out there. If he says it's 100 miles, there's no way that you got a actual 100 miles each of actual deliveries of actual stops. It got to be like you just driving a whole lot of farmland. I'm assuming his 4 routes cover a whole city. But you know what I'm saying? Who knows how big that city is with farmland, and it's only 4 routes. So you probably do way more driving than anything else than stops if you have the rural route, but I don't like rural routes. And the other person just has the city part because it's that small. And he said that person get done in like, on average, like 5 hours or something like that. And they go home to get their guarantee 8.
Yeah, I mean,
but you make it work. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming he'll work with you on adjusting because he's the supervisor, he's the manager, he's the postmaster. You know what I'm saying? So I'm assuming the adjusting would be done by him.
That's what I mean. So we're hoping, you know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. Let's be truthful. All managers, and I hate to say this, but I'm got to be truthful. The majority of the management staff is not going to tell the truth. They're not going to say a route. If a route is 8 hours, they believe a route is 7 hours. If a route is 10 hours, they believe it's 9 or 8. That's just what it is. So the majority of people will probably get cheated out of that. Now, if you're a person who you got one speed, and your speed is top end speed, of course that works for you. But we're talking about if you're overweight, and most people are when they first start in the post office. Those people are going to be working for free for an hour or 2 hours. That's not good for them. That's good incentive if everybody route is created equally unto everybody. So if everybody route is like 4 hours on the street, and if you get a route and then you over, and they're going to adjust it to that, great. If they're not, that's not great. That's actually a little mortifying, to be honest.
No, I'm gonna make that work.
Okay.
But talking with him is where I found that a lot of our contracts are trash. This is where you really see the difference. Now, for those of you who out there who don't know, city routes and rural routes are going to be a lot different. And the contracts for rural carriers and city carriers has always been different. Right. And I don't talk, rural carriers is a rural carrier. I'm not talking about a city carrier that has mounted. That's still a city route.
Correct.
Right. But what that conversation showed me is there's a lot of different things in people's contracts, which also told me that there's a lot of room for change in our own contract or in other people's contract. Where somebody will say, oh man, you could never get that. Well, how come I talk to these people over here and they got that in theirs? So now it's almost like the doors open in that conversation. Like I had an enlightenment and some ideas that I thought I would never have for contracts because I didn't think it even be feasible. But talking to him, there's a lot of stuff that's possible because it's in their contracts.
I think the problem with the contract talks, me personally, I don't think they tap into, ground zero. I think that's the number one problem with the contract. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to be disrespectful to them or what they do. I appreciate everything that the people do to get whatever they can get in the contract. I don't think they play it from what are our people going through on the ground floor. Mostly in most people career, once you get 10 or 12 years, you're not going through what everybody else going through at the bottom, right? So we're talking about people who have a grassroots jobs. just like your clerk that's just going to be in the station. She's not trying to elevate to another craft until the top of the clerks. Well, she has to throw packages every day, and they come up with a different time every day to put her on. Now, regardless if that's correct or incorrect, that is what she has to deal with every day. Uh, I don't know how long are we going to wait before we start doing some type of corrective action to management as a whole on not following the contract. You can't just say I have the right to mismanage every time. You got to go by case basis, and we have to look at what are they talking about. So if you're talking about it's a snowstorm and you're supposed to have 30 bodies in there and you only got 12, I understand. That's a reason to mismanage. If you're talking about just because your favorite carrier doesn't want to carry this long route and she or he wants to be on a mountain route that day because they want to carry that, and you are like, oh, I have the right to mismanage. No, you don't have the right to mismanage in that situation. So that's one of the things I think will also make us better as a whole as a company, but also help us correct some of the miscommunication between the desk and the craft employees, because they know they're on a shot clock. You can't just do certain things, you know what I'm saying, and not care about what's going on. And I think that's a lot of people frustration on the bottom right now. And I think upper union, I don't want to say that they don't know. I'll say it's not as, it's on the back burner. I'm pretty sure they're trying to get everything they can get, but I would want them to focus tremendously on understanding what's the day-to-day fights are. Before we can win big fights, we gotta win the day-to-day fights. How many times, I'm just gonna say it. The number one thing we need to fix is the attendance policy. The attendance policy is broken. It is archaic. It has no kind of function, no boundaries, no structure to it. It is left up to management to come up with how many other days they want to let you miss until they feel like bringing you in. They want to bring you in after 3. They want to bring you in after 5. They want to bring you out to 10. It's broken. We need to have some incentive to keep people at work. If you're on the overtime list, you shouldn't be getting brought in the office the same as a person who's a non-overtime person. That don't make any sense to me. If you're a person on work assignment and you're going to work 6 days a week, you should be given an incentive to be able to, if you're sick or you're worn down, why do that one day count against me like a person who come here and only do 40 hours? You got to be something in the contract to start encouraging people to, again, fall in love with the job and not just let the desk or the job beat them down altogether. We got to have something in the contract. We're doing a dangerous job every day. I value what police officers do, so I'm not going to say the police officer we do a dangerous job than them, but we put ourselves in the most dangerous position that's known to man. We're in more dangerous zones than they are. Police officers are not going to go where they know shootings are just to be, walking around. They understand the dangers in there. They drive through. We're walking where people are killing people at, where people are getting robbed at, where people are getting shot at. We get nothing for that. Giving me a thank you is not giving me anything. I can give myself a thank you every day. I think that something should be, put in the contract. Also, I think one thing will help everybody. You should get every month, I can walk away day. You into it with the desk, you having a bad day, you know what I'm saying, your wife don't got on your nerves, your husband don't got on your nerve, your children sick at home, you should be able to call in 3 hours early and be like, hey, today I'm using my, I can't work today. Because I think a lot of things goes downhill because if I call in one day, I'm definitely calling in the next day. I'm not doing one for one. I'm usually doing 1 for 2 every time. Why would I get one occurrence for one day? There's a lot of stuff I can get done in 48 hours that I normally don't. So there's a lot of things that we can put in the contract that I don't think that we can. The reason I think the contract is held up so much is because of, how can I say this? There's no fear that if the contract runs out, that we're going to go anywhere. So that's my thoughts on switching up. If they knew at 12 o'clock when the contract was over with, nobody had to come in and you couldn't do nothing to nobody, the contract will get fixed. What do you think, LA?
It'll get closed. I don't think it. I don't know.
When I say fixed, I mean everybody will come to the table with the excitement of getting it done, like you would do any other deal. People know when you have a deadline. Like most deals are.
Okay, I'll say this. The union wouldn't have or shouldn't be as enthused on getting it done with how the mentality, right? So let's say you management, I'm union, right? And we got to get this done by a certain time, right? Typically, the contract is held up on management side for the things that they don't want to give. Cool. So I'm gonna come to the table more like lackadaisical because I'm not worried about the time limit because I know when the time ends, you're not gonna have no employees. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna have no workers. Or it gives us free reign. You still have workers, but they gives us free reign. Call in central. There's no discipline. Can't be discipline. There's no contract to say what discipline is. There's no active attendance policy to say what that is for discipline. You know what I'm saying? So you might have people at work that you still got to pay. But they might just be free reign on doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? Staying out after 12, staying out, whatever the case is, because there's no discipline, because there's no contract. So I feel like management would be more enthused to close the contract because they know that they could the possibility of having no employees would be the scariest thing. By no employees, I mean people at work on any given day. And they're going to get hit bad with that. So I think they'd be more enthused to close the contract, which means they might be willing to give more because they know that they're on that schedule, that time limit. I can't keep saying no because they not letting it go. You know what I'm saying? The union not letting it go, and we got 30 days, 45 days. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the contracts will definitely get closed faster. Well, it got no choice but to close faster. Right now we a year and a half behind or something. So
most definitely is.
I think it'd be more incentive to get it done. I just don't know how much better it would be. It'd be a better contract than what we typically get. I don't know how much better that would be though, but I do feel like it'd be a better contract because both sides probably will be willing to give a little bit more or a little bit less or whatever the case is to compromise. But even in that same token, your craft that you negotiating for has to be involved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That still gotta happen because we still don't know what you're negotiating. Right. It might help you a lot to know what you're going to the table to negotiate. Unions. Right. I feel like y'all just freeball a lot of stuff. But I'll keep that short right there. We 20 minutes. We ain't got into the topic of route adjustments yet. So let's get into this route adjustments. And then we can double back on this when on another episode, on a future episode. I don't know what my camera doing. Cameras want to be out of focus right now for some reason. Yep, there you go. Getting slow. Route adjustments. So for those of you in general that don't know what a route adjustment is, or maybe your station never faced one, which would be hard to comprehend because I'm under the impression that every station has had route adjustments over the decades. It's been around for a long time, right? Route adjustment, typically, from my understanding, they used to do it once a year. Again, our branch contracts are different, so There's no telling what's in yours about route adjustments or how often they do them or don't do them. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the problems. Is our contracts are so different from branch to branch, or the MOUs are so different from branch to branch they don't even make sense. It's almost like the contracts different. So a route adjustment can come in when used to do them yearly to see if there's been growth on a route or some type of downsizing on a route, and they would either tack on, add more to the route, or take off from the route to get it to appear with about 8 hours, or probably estimated under 8 hours, because again, you still want that room for error and traveling to be on time for 8 hours. So that's what the base of a route adjustment is, right? Right now they're doing station-wide route adjustments, meaning they're going into your stations, they're traveling all your routes to get an estimation or estimate of how long it takes to do said route or said routes, and then they're going to adjust those routes. What they're attempting to do is take out routes, right? They already have this in their head that they're going to take out routes. They have a estimated number of how many routes that they want to take out already. Right now, they said they're going to take that number out, but they're hoping that they can get that number, right? So they're going to come in, they're going to walk all your routes. If they don't get to you this year, it'll probably be next year, I'm assuming. They're gonna walk all your routes, and then they're gonna attempt to cut some routes out to add on to your routes, so you can have an 8-hour day. Let them tell it, right? So what they're essentially doing is almost building in pivots. When some of us might have pivots, some of us don't, but to build in pivots into your route automatically is essentially what's happening, because you might be under, or there are routes that are under. What y'all got to say about that? Y'all
No,
want me to keep going?
I think the problem with route adjustment to me is that we're looking at it from the wrong angle. If you come in already with how many routes that you're going to take out, so what are we doing there? You might as well just come take them out. You're not going to change your mind. If you believe that 4 routes are supposed to come out of the station, you're not going to take 4 routes out. You know what I mean? So it's like, just take the 4. Just look at the seniority.
Okay, but let
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So look at the seniority. Look at the list of the lowest person in the station. Take those 4 routes, add them to the rest of the routes. Because basically, it's basically coming in like eventually it's going to be a lie. Because you're going to walk everybody in the station and tell everybody in the station they're over. If you walk a person and they over, you still add to their route. I know a station in Poem 2, out of Branch 2, who 4 people was over, one person was over by 2 hours. They still got some added to their route. So they already know what they're going to add to your route. So it's all about the union. To me, the union is being made a joke of, because they're telling you, no, we're going in with good intentions to make sure everything's done right. You can be our partner in this because we believe we're a partnership. When we already know they don't believe we're partners. So you go in and say, hey, we're coming in. We think about 4 routes should come out of this station. Why do you think that? And then they're going to say, well, every day they pivot every day. Okay, how about we do this? How about we have that person come in, we pay 4 people for 1 month and leave their 4 routes on the floor. And let's see if everybody's going to be able to absorb those 4 routes onto those routes. And let's see if that's going to be 8 hours for each and every person for a month. We shouldn't have to do the look back, as they call it, to see, is it working? You shouldn't have to do that, because if people are not getting done at 8, then it didn't work. Then we should adjust the route adjustment. But that's not what they're doing it for.
Well, part of that as well, right? By the time they get in your station, they're coming in with the last 6 months of data from your route or from your station and each individual route. So they know how long you estimated in the office, and how much stationary time, how much sitting time, quote unquote, that you have had. They've watched you in DMS. They got all this information, right? By the time they come. Now they know that you probably going, as far as carriers, gonna do whatever you gotta do, or feel like you gotta do whatever you gotta do, whatever the case is. That you probably not gonna do that day. Right? Cool. To try to extend your time on the whatchamacallit. But they already going with the information for the past 6 months already. So, i.e., if you was a person stay in the office for 3 hours and they come in and they know it ain't no DPS touching, they know whatever the case, and you end up getting out an hour in the office, then they're gonna feel like you just burnt 2 hours then. Cool. Then you get on the street and you normally had an hour and a half of stationary time on the street. So if I can get that hour and a half of stationary time from you, because now when I'm walking, you don't have that. So now I got this 2 hours out the office on you, and then I got this hour and a half off the street on you. Then that's 3.5 hours. And then you turn around and you came back at 1 o'clock when I walked you. Yeah. So the time adds up then with your stationary time, and then with your office time. That's why they're gonna add in their head. You got that 3 available, or 2, or whatever it is available based on office time, based on stationary time for the past 6 months. It's what they, again, just things I've heard, right? People I've talked to, things of that nature, right? So when they come in, it's not like they're coming in. So so I said to say, this is why they got an estimated estimation on how many routes that they want to take, because they're basing it off said under time categories that I just said. Right? They're look at your whole station's office time, look at your whole station's stationary report, inactivity events. Believe it or not, some people be stationary for 30 minutes. Some people stationary for 25 minutes, and when you ask them, they just be like, oh, I can't remember. Not saying it's each individual, but we all always know as well that there's few that can mess it up for many, or there's a select amount or whatever that can mess it up for whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? But that's just to give y'all that information on when they come to your station. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I told people y'all need to start carrying like y'all supposed to carry. I said this a month and a half ago. Go ahead. If y'all don't know, again, I didn't do this on here. You know what I'm saying? I talked to the different stations.
Well,
go ahead, Coffee.
This is my thing right here. The problem with that tool is we should be doing we first should be having a conversation and consolidations with the supervisor and the manager. Like they have that same data right there to them. There's somebody downtown who's reporting, hey, your person been sitting for 10 minutes. That, I mean, a IT student can pop that up on your screen every time somebody's sitting more than 10 minutes. So we can work that out to see what that is in each day and be able to adjust without having a team to come in. Because let's be honest, every time most people get walked is a day when they don't have mail, on a day they don't have flats, on a day they're doing this on purpose. This is not something, it just happened like that. No, they're doing this on purpose. You can make every route be under 8 every day by not sending anything in the office. If I send you 12 flats for every route, 25 packages for every route. I have a 1.5 tray of DPS. Everybody should have an 8-hour day or less. So you can come in the data, you can make the data say what you wanted to say when you wanted to say it. But that's not what they're going to do. They're going to choose the data over that 6 months of where a person has been, more faster, where they've been faster than normal, and they're going to use that data. And that's the problem. It's no trust between the union, the carriers, and the post office. Because if you don't trust somebody, it doesn't matter if you come in. Let me show you the numbers. Okay. Well, guess what? I got an app on my phone that tells me how long it took me to walk. I started every time I leave here. It don't took me 7 hours on the street every day for the last 9 months. So how could you come here and tell me your data got me under in your 6 months? Then they're gonna say, "Well, I deducted, the times that you went to the bathroom." What? That doesn't matter because that's part of the live route. It's just part of the route. If I get chased by a dog, I don't just be like, okay, I'm gonna go home because I got chased by a dog. I just move to the next street. Most of us. So a lot of stuff that in that data to me are just things that you can flat out do to make anybody have a day. Guarantee when the 1-8 zone and you guys zone get traveled, watch how much less mail it is. That's why so many customers are complaining. Why haven't I been getting my magazine? Because they hold the mail. Why do a package take to go from one state from Chicago to Wisconsin? Why did it take 5 days to do that? When they're right next to each other, I could have drove it there faster. It's because they're holding mail because they want the data to say what they want the data to say. Fee, you
want to add something, Fee?
So basically, because I went through route adjustments twice so far.
Okay.
One of the main problems is you have the runners, and they're the reason why some of the routes are being taken out, because you have those that's running where you got a 6.5 hour route and they're getting it done in 3 and 4 hours, and then they're just sitting. And then when the route adjustments come in, it's making it bad for the carriers that's really carrying those routes the right way. They're still getting time added on because of that person that then ran and carried the route the wrong way. It's not our fault, but they still added on to our routes. And what I was told was, if they see for 30 to 60 days, 30 to 90 days, that it's not working, they're supposed to come back in and readjust it to back the way it was. But people need to start carrying their mail and their routes the right way. Stop running because you want to get done. You can go in, case up your route, walk your route the way it's supposed to be walked. Don't act like you're running a marathon to get done, because you're the runners are the reason why they're coming in to do the route adjustments, because they're making the routes shorter than what they appear to be on paper. Now, some routes, yeah, they are short. Make those the aux routes or the training routes. But don't make it bad for the people that's really working hard, and adding more time to them, because sometimes they can't do anything extra or have anything extra added on to their route.
What?
My homeboy just got 2.5 hours added on to his route. But what he used to do is he'll come in 9:30, 10 o'clock. He wouldn't hit the street until 11:30. He wouldn't start his route until 12. He'll be done with his route and his overtime by 5:30. And they just added 2.5 hours onto his route. Now he complaining. Well, whose fault is that? Yours or theirs? Because you showed them that you could do it. Now you can't do it all of a sudden because they done added 2.5 hours on. When I told you from the beginning, stop running.
What I will say, and I believe that route adjustments are something that we need. And the reason I say that is because it's some carriers who they're just going to be fast. And we got to face the fact that some carriers are going to run. And it's been running since the beginning of time. We shouldn't let 5 to 7 people in a station of 30 to 40 people be problematic for everybody else. The system still works. If you're finishing your route 3 hours ahead of time, and we're just we got an open route. Guess what? That's not an open route. We're gonna kill that route. We're gonna take 3 hours of that route, bust it down, pause, and put it on that route. That's what we're gonna do. We have another person. We get another 3 hours, because at this point, it's a headache for the whole station, especially for management. Management is in the worst position it's ever going to be in, because once they come in and tear your station up, you have to deal with the fallout, right? You're going to have people that's going to retire, you're going to have people that's going to leave, and you're going to have carriers who don't give a goddamn anymore. Those are your initial.
Oh, what you gonna have is mail on the floor.
But that's what I mean.
That's what you're gonna have.
That's going to be the fallout for the whole thing. We believe that we're going to come in and do something for the greater of 7 people. That's not the majority. And I just want to send this FYI to carriers. For y'all carriers who run, stop complaining when they add to your routes. I don't want to hear another carrier, you be running, you supposed to. Because if they sent you home without 8 hours, you'll be knocking down the doggone union door. Why they ain't pay me for 8 today? I thought I had a guarantee 8. So if you got a guarantee 8, what that means is that you must work 8 hours. It's not a pivot for people who already ran your route off. It's not a pivot. It's a guarantee that you get your time for that day. That's exactly what it is. I'm tired of people getting upset. They're doing what the contract says they must do. Give you a guarantee 8. Don't be mad at the problem that you created. That's what you wanted. You wanted more time because you wanted 8 hours to feed your family, right? They gave that to you. They added to your route. Great. I'm glad. I'm glad they didn't add to mine because I ain't out there running. You should be working as safely and quickly as possible. And I just want people to know that, when you run a route off when it's great weather outside, they expect that same time when it's horrible weather outside. Am I lying, LA? So guys, I don't think route adjustment is bad in its whole totality. I believe it can be tweaks to it. I believe that you should first start at station who has carriers who have a lifetime injury. So you got somebody with a back injury that they're never going to be able to carry their whole route. That's a route we're looking at to eliminate. We're not trying to eliminate the person. Her or his restrictions are going to be 2, 1, 3, 4, 5 hours at max. Whatever that restriction is, hey, cut off that route. I don't know. We can give them $24.99. Give them a different, give them a job offer of limited duty for that route. We call it an ox route, but for them, since that limited duty is their regular duty, that's be their route. That's what we should do to people who are limited duty. Every station who got an ox route, those are the routes that you got to write for. Point blank, period. Ain't no such thing as, I only can do this. Okay, we gave you a route. You only can do 3 hours. Those are your 3 hours. I'm for the carriers, but I understand this is a business. And in business, anywhere that you're spending money that you shouldn't spend money at, you don't want to do that. So I understand why the police also are looking and trying to remodel this archaic, old-fashioned, blueprint that we got. But while we're trying to fix the blueprint, let's fix the way that we manage, the way that we discover and fix problems. You can't be fixing a problem to create another problem down the line for management. Because what you're going to do is you're going to drive all the good carriers out, and then they're stuck there with all the bad carriers, and all you created was a horrible station. And I know.
So I'm gonna tell y'all. Remember when I got put out of one of my stations from always being insubordinate?
Sounds about right.
So they sent me to one of the stations where it was like the neighborhood, it maybe was 10 houses on every street where they gave me. But I had all this mail and no houses. That's where they need to start at doing route adjustments, because that station shouldn't even be open. Come on now, y'all. Y'all got a station open. There's no mail down there. I had 2 packages for 6 hours worth of work.
Hold on, Fee.
And no mail. I had mail and no houses to deliver to for real. I got all these avos. The houses were abandoned or there was no houses, but I got avos for a house that don't even exist. How was that even possible?
They're gonna add that to your station. Is that station next to you?
Absolutely not.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why. See, I'm conflicted. I'm a grandma's baby. I'm from Mississippi, And one of the things my grandparents and other parents did, they went to the local post office. Now, consolidating stations, consolidating routes really means that you're going to take out the local post office out of the community, which is one of the landmarks of the community. One of the things that, people look for in that community, somewhere you can go, get your information from, this is where you can get stamps from, just where you can ship, grandma always ship you that Christmas card, that birthday card. That's under attack right now. And that's on us. It's a lot of great men and women who kept those doors open for us to have the pleasure and the honor to be working at the United States Postal Service. And we got to do a better job, guys. Some of us not doing a great job, and that's on both sides. And this is not me picking and saying craft employees not doing a good job, or management not doing a good job. As a whole, right? Put down what sides as a whole, we're not doing a great job, because if we keep going down this, eventually it's not going to be a job for us to have. And it's not going to be something that we can go to, local to the local post office. And I know people are going to say, well, I barely go there anyway. Well, I don't even be understanding how people work at the post office don't use the post office. You shipping stuff, but you click FedEx. How is that possible when you work at the post office? How your check stub don't come to your house when you work at the post office? Oh, I'll just get it online. Why? They don't even charge us to send our paycheck stubs to us, but you don't have it coming to you. That's revenue that, you know what I'm saying, you want to keep that. When your cell phone bill says you can go green. Nope, I want to go green in my pocket. Send it. So we got to do a lot of things different. We gotta look at the way that we do things, and we gotta take a hard look in the mirror. The great men and women left us a great job, and we have to do a better job of understanding this is our career. This is not a local job, a local plant job. There's nothing wrong with a plant job. I want nobody to think I'm trying to come at your job. I'm really not. I think your job is great too in its own right. But we got to do a better job of understanding what we have, a better job of going to work, right? I'm not going to tell nobody ever not to do a pivot. I believe a pivot it's not such thing as a pivot. It's the completion of an 8-hour day. If you don't have an 8-hour day, then you should move on to get completed for 8-hour day. Because if they violated that, you will want to file a grievance. So if your route is less than 8 hours for the day, take the pivot. Don't argue. I got a homeboy who argues every time we tell him to take a pivot. Every time we tell him somebody else blew through his route that he say he just can't get done. It's killing him to do it in 8 hours. BS. Do your route. If you got to add to it, let them add to it. Who wants to sit around for 45 minutes trying to find something to do? Because I don't. What you got to say about that, Fia?
Yeah, they got to walk. They got to walk your home girl at your station though.
Somebody right next.
Want to start with a P? Nah, want to start with a P.
Don't start your mess now.
She'll across the way.
Hey man, look.
They gotta walk her, man.
Hey,
the Caucasian lady. They gotta walk her, man.
Hey man.
I just want to see the results. That's the only reason. I want to see the results.
I mean,
now again, right? As I chime in, I'm joking, but I'm serious. I would like to see those
hold
results.
up. I would say that. I would say this to people too. The problem with a lot of us getting the problem with you guys getting stuff added to y'all route, because y'all don't carry the way you're supposed to carry every day. You have created so many bad habits that those you think they are shortcuts, they are very bad habits. There's a reason why we do everything that we do, so we can be safe and to come home safe. If you're not wearing a satchel, you should be wearing one. If you don't have dog spray, dog horn, you should have one. If you don't have your arrow keys hanging off your bag, you should have it. It helps you. If you're fingering mail while you're walking, that's a hazard. If you're
Well, I was going to get into that. the things most likely I know for a fact that most
Correct.
of us are not doing. Right. What's also causing, I'm not going to say, again, I don't mean to say causing the adjustments when I do say that. So if I say that,
Correct.
it's on
I know
accident and I'm not catching myself. Right? Because technically we should be getting adjustments. When I say getting adjustments, but we should be getting walked, or at least used
supposed
to.
to be
From
every
what
year.
I heard,
Yeah, it's supposed to be once a year.
Whether they add on something or not, they used to walk the routes, whether
Correct.
they adjusted something or not. Right? So I'm not going to act like they just doing it like we're giving them reason to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just been a long time, probably since before COVID. 'Cause I think I was walked as a CCA. Of course, it didn't count, but the managers walked me as a CCA on a couple routes, and I haven't seen it since then. That was like 19 or 20.
It's supposed to be done once a year. Mostly they do a travel. It's always going to be time in the summertime. The reason they don't add if your route is close. So if you got an 8-hour route, which mostly you're supposed to have, and let's say you come back 30 minutes faster than 8 hours. So you come back in 7 hours and 30 minutes. They usually don't add to it because they say when the wintertime comes, that'll push your route to 8 hours or a little bit over 8 hours. If your route is, if you come back in 6 hours, they should be looking to give you a pivot every day and then adjusting that pivot when the wintertime comes. The problem there is management is not upholding the job until they're upset at you, if you want to be clear. Most managers, they don't say anything when they travel somebody come back fast, they be like, all right, okay, whatever, cool. Now they get mad at you, oh, you got to give me a pivot today. We got to keep it consistent and be more consistent in what we're doing. Go ahead, LA. My bad for interrupting.
With that, again, what's contributing to the quote unquote route adjustments, again, for lack of better, whatever case is because a lot of y'all or a lot of us are not doing the totality that would fill our downtime. Y'all got excess stationary. And I mean excess. EX. You are in excess. Some of y'all are sitting for an hour and a half total throughout a day. And I know for a fact there's no way you could be doing the stuff that you're doing. Now, again, if I come to you on the every other day basis about it, you're gonna come up with some type of excuse. What they gonna catch you at because of this, right, is when they walk you for a week straight. They want to see what an hour and a half goes. You know what I'm saying? That you've been having excuses for, that you always have every day. Then on the days we walk you, you should be still having that time, right? Let's say I walk with coffee. And coffee, well, I don't walk with coffee. And before, coffee has an hour stationary. Coffee said, I'm on a business route. I be having to do things for my customers, so-and-so, blah, this, skip me, this, that, and the other. I might feel like coffee BS. So let's say one day come when we start to walk coffee. Coffee should be able to show me that same downtime. He should not have the downtime. He should have the downtime.
Correct.
Right, his stationary. But he should be showing me, okay, so in this business, I got to go in here, then I got to do this, then I got to make these connections. I got to go in the back. I got to drop these packages off. I got to get this extra mail. I got to take that back out. Then I got to come back in, grab whatever the case is. That takes me about 5-6 minutes. Cool. Then I got another next door, and I got to do the same thing next door because I got to drop this off to her. I got to walk through here. I got to go to the back. I got to do this, that, and the other. So then I put my bag down right here because it's just going to be swinging it in the way. Then I got to walk this back here, get this ready. Then I got to come out. Then I got to go across the street to the auto place or whatever the case is. Or I got this business suite, right? They got different suites, and it's like 20 different suites in there, and I gotta go in that one building, but I gotta walk the suites. I gotta walk the mail to the suites because they got their own mailboxes or whatever. He should still have that same downtime, but he should be able to show me why it looks like he has that downtime. So it looks like his scanner not moving when really he's just in the same small space, but he is moving and he is working or whatever the case is. Or maybe he has a business pickup. So he pull up to the dock, his scanner stuff is in the whatchamacallit, because even when you stand in there do a business pickup on like some of them, the people are bringing the stuff to like a loading dock, and then you just taking it off the dock, putting it in your vehicle. So you really just standing in the motion anyway. So it wouldn't matter if he had the scanner on him because he really ain't moving outside of just swinging back and forth on getting packages loaded. But he might be there for 30 minutes. He should be able to show me that. The problem is a lot of y'all don't got that, man. A lot of y'all ain't got that, man. A lot of y'all ain't got the reasons to have the stationary time or the sitting time that you have. And this is why it looks funny. This is why it can look funny. right? When you're doing this every day, when they come walk you, you should still have that time. When you don't have that time, when they're walking you, you're going to look
Absolutely.
suspect. Because there's no way if I walk with you 7 days because every day before this, you did the same thing. Every day before the first day I walk, you did the same thing. Now I just walk you 3, 4, 5 days in a row, and I don't see none of this stationary time. And you're getting back early. So where's the stationary time on every other day that you said before today that you had this, you had that, you had customer, you had why I'm not seeing it?
Absolutely. I think
so.
You're correct.
They probably should come for you then.
Correct. I think.
Go ahead, Coffee.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is spot on. Everything that you do when you get walked is what you should do when nobody's walking you. That's how it should go. The LA is 100%. Whatever you do when you're getting walked should be what you're doing normally. That's 100% correct. Continue.
And again, I say this because if you don't, right, when you get walked, that's the day to show them, especially for those of you who feel like your route is over. That's the day to show them, or that's the time period to show them that it's over. It's not the day to be Speedy Gonzalez. It's not the day to be Mighty Mouse, Superman, Flash. That's the day to show them, if I do my route the proper way, this is what it comes to every time. Right? Again, we'll get in subtly what you should be doing for those of you who don't know.
Yes.
What you should be doing, or possibly don't know, or maybe you done lost touch with the things that we actually do. Now, I'm not gonna remember everything off the top because I don't have my paper in front of me, but I do remember most of it, and I can start to recall it as I get to talking. Right? Just go street, all right? Because this is where a lot of you gonna have your problems at. You go office if need to, but let's go street. All right. For one, let me see how to start this. I'm trying to be respectful.
Man, say it.
Because I'm trying not to use certain words. Because it's a lot of it's a lot of y'all. I'm not gonna say carry bad mail because I've been one of the people that walk fast. I just know the things that I'm taking shortcuts on. I'm a little bit different though. I can always argue my cases, right? As long as you can argue your cases when it's time. So when I get my walk in, they ask, hey, listen, why are you doing? I know exactly why I'm doing it, and I can tell you why I'm doing it, right? Or why I don't do it. Hey, why you ain't cutting across the grass? Because I don't have to. That's people private property. And this is besides the fact. My last go-to answer is my customers don't want me to walk across their grass. That's just to reinforce it. But the first problem I have with them asking me is it's not your property to suggest me walking across. That's the first thing. Last thing is, hey, my customers already said that they don't like that anyway. I got homeowners area. They don't like that. And they would call, complain, and cuss you out and let you deal with that when they start doing it. It already happened when I first came to the station and came on this route. It already happened. So that's why I don't cut across. Right? But first and foremost, know your place. It's not your property to tell me what to do on somebody's property. Right? That's going to be my go-to. It's almost disrespectful that you even suggest such a thing. I'm going to be honest with you. But my arguments be different than other people. See what I'm saying? But for one, you shouldn't be. Okay, we're going to start by saying mail delivery is in paperwork. Majority of things, everything I'm saying is in paperwork somewhere. You just have to find it because, again, we in different branches across the nation, and things could be subtly different in your MOUs or in your contract, right? But in black and white somewhere in your paperwork, it should say, starting off, mail delivery is at the carrier's discretion. Management can't tell you nothing about delivering no mail. This the headline of the prelude. So when you get out there, you should already have in your mind that they can't tell you nothing unless it's a safety issue. But we're gonna get into that. Mail delivery is at the carrier's discretion. So whatever comfortable and safe for you to do is what you're supposed to be doing, right? Then that goes into the first one. Should nobody be walking across grass? Nobody should be walking across grass. Even paperwork says that you're supposed to take the clear way to the mailbox because that's a safety issue. Same reason why you wouldn't deliver somebody mail if there wasn't a clear path to the mailbox. If they didn't shovel their snow, they got a motorcycle on their sidewalk for whatever reason, or on their pathway to their house, we wouldn't deliver that mail. Why? Because it's not a clear path to the mailbox. You got cat mess and dog mess all in your yard and on your steps. You don't deliver the mail. Why? Because it's not a clear path to the mailbox. The grass is not a clear path to the mailbox. You don't know if it's nails in there, if it's glass in there, if it's dog mess in there. You don't know what's in the grass because you can't see because it's covered by grass. So the safest bet is to take the sidewalk to the mailbox. Along with taking that sidewalk, to infer what Coffee said earlier, you should not be fingering the mail while you walk on the sidewalk. You got to look for stones, for pebbles, for glass, for nails, uneven slabs of concrete, all that in the other trip hazards, toys, whatever it is, on your way to the next house. You got to work safe. So you're only supposed to finger the mail once you get to the mailbox, right? I know a lot of us who trying to be fast, right, who start to walk off as we scan the package. We already walking off or going across to the next house. Shouldn't do that either. For safe GPS tracking purposes, and you don't get blamed for a misdelivered package, you should be standing right there until you complete the scanning process and you hear the last beep, and then you should start moving. Because it's going to be some type of few seconds delay and you scanning the package delivered. And then that's how you might get it where it shows up in between. It looked like it was going in between houses because you already started walking to the next door already by the time you actually hit the last enter button. You should wait right there, right? Also with your packages, you should be attempting to deliver your packages to the customers, meaning you should be knocking on the doors of everyone who has packages to attempt to deliver to them safely.
Every time.
Theft is running rampant in neighborhoods, right? Or a dog or a squirrel or animal could get it. We don't know if these people are on vacation or whatever case. I'm not gonna say that they is on vacation, just not at home, that they might have some type of infestation problem or something with squirrels or whatever that can open up a plastic package or chew on a box. You should be knocking on the door, attempting to leave that package with the customer. And then if you cannot, attempt to leave it in a safe place. And then if you can't do that, then notify it. And you should be doing all that above for every single package that you have. When you get back to your vehicle, you got to make sure that you're endorsing every single piece of mail you have. That includes pre-sorted standard mail, which I only know why we sell pre-sorted standard stamps or postage. Everything should be first class. That's where we missing money at as well, along with securing people mail, right? You should be endorsing pre-sorted standards. You should be endorsing pre-sorted standards. You should be endorsing every piece of mail.
Every piece.
Just in case.
All
to be on
mail
the safe
is
side.
good mail.
It's a safety issue. Correct, with the mail. They could go in at any point in time and just start saying, oh man, you ain't even endorsing your mail. You just doing whatever the case is. And hey, on the safe side for you, to be a one less headache you got to worry about, endorse everything that's coming back. Endorse everything coming back. Cool. Before you pull off from that park point, from that split or whatever it is that you get ready to move. Some of y'all might have one split or two splits, whatever y'all might call them, 2 blocks, 1 block, swings in other areas, whatever y'all call doing a block of mail that takes you from your vehicle back to your vehicle to get the next block, whatever y'all call that, where y'all at. Before you get ready to pull off to your next park point, you should be doing a 360 around your vehicle to make sure that you ain't got no flat tires, you ain't got glass or nails in front of your vehicle, right? The safety issue with that is the vehicle was out of your sight and you don't know if anybody done did something to it. So you know how people drive past, they like to throw bottles out the window. People walk past and throw sharp objects just down on the ground for whatever reason. There could have been glass in front of your tire, right? You could have not paid attention coming from your last park point and ran over a nail in the street. Now, I know that, but by the time you did this block, you might see that your tire is getting low on flat. So now you can call to report that.
Also,
go ahead, Coffee. You want to add something?
Well, when you get out, when you dispatch yourself out the vehicle, after you get all your mail together, you should be checking to make sure all doors, if you got trunks, whatever it is, you should make sure all doors are locked every time. If you got a parking loop, every split, you should be making sure the vehicle is secure every time. Nobody's going to care. Management is not going to care. When they come out there and they pull on one door and that door opens, you didn't secure the vehicle. I don't care if the door been broke. Did you write the vehicle up? So you should be checking every door every time. Go ahead, LA.
With that, so again, you making sure that there's no glass before you pull off. or nails or sharp objects in front of your tires, you might have to reverse a little bit. Also, no U-turns.
None.
You can do a Y-turn, but I wouldn't even do a Y-turn. Drive around the whole block to be safe. Drive around the whole block if that's what you got to do. This is something the management put out. There's no U-turns, and technically we shouldn't do Y-turns because it puts you in it leaves you at the behest of traffic that might be coming past. Somebody driving wild, crazy, running from the police, whatever it is they're doing. So you should just be driving around the block to get back to wherever you got to get back to. But yeah, but you checking for glass, you checking for nails, you checking for. One of the issues that they bring up, this is stuff that's been put in training. It ain't something I'm making up. This stuff has been in black and white and was in my training and orientation in my regular training in 2019. And when I got to stations, right? So I know that's not when they started. I'm assuming it's been there. You're supposed to also do your 360 to make sure there's no type of small kids or small animals behind your tires and things of that nature, behind your vehicle that can get hit. This is what the 360 is for, before you pull off. And you should be doing that every time that you got to pull off. Along with the no U-turns, no Y-turns, you should be driving around.
No tailgating when you're driving.
With that?
No tailgating.
No, and always yield. Yield to everybody. I don't care if you're half a block away, 3/4 of the block away. Yield. I'm waiting for them. Don't rush to cross the street, the intersection, whatever the case. You know how people drive, man.
You get paid by the hour, so why are you flying?
I don't want to be hit. I don't want my vehicle to be hit. I don't want my vehicle down or somebody trying to blame me for whatever the case is. I'm not saying if they 5 blocks around, wait, you know what I'm saying? But we just know how traffic is, man. You the carrier. Again, delivering mail is at your discretion. You know the streets better than management do because they're not out here as long as you out here. They're not seeing the cars fly around the busy streets and side streets and swerving and this, that, and the other. This is why we got the little curbside, I don't know what they call things now in the turning lanes and stuff. This is why we got this type of stuff. It happens. Right? So if you yield to traffic, I roll my window down. Somebody pull up and they just pulled up. I'm like, I don't trust it.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Go ahead.
I'm out the window. Go ahead. He like, you should. Yeah, go ahead. I ain't moving. No matter how many times you do it, I ain't moving. You go ahead. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to just get from point A to point B and get home. You know what I'm saying? So you should be yielding to traffic. With that, every time you go to a house, this is back from office time. You should have all your forward mail cards, which is your pink cards, your CFS cards, aka your pink cards, right? That lets you know who done moved from or into or whatever the case, or should be moved out of. Check. You should have all your pink cards, all your dog warning cards, all your hazard cards, and all your vacant cards or suspect cards, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got on your pink card. Some people put like no access, no keys on some of they yellow cards. Maybe it's a beware broken mailbox. Maybe it's a notification on the leave certain mailbox here. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case, or not leave mail here. I got a mailbox behind the bush. Whatever. All your cards in your case supposed to come down with your mail. Whatever they for. They supposed to come down with your mail when you pull your case down. You're supposed to be checking all those cards, especially your pink cards, every address that you got those pink cards for. If you don't got them, before they come around to you, make sure that your station is keeping up with printing your labels because you're going to need those by the time they walk you. You want to make sure that you're ready by the time they walk you.
Also,
go ahead, Coffee.
I don't know. Did you say anything about mounted routes or no? Okay.
I ain't got to yet.
Well,
go ahead. You specialize in mounted routes more than me.
You know, that's his expertise anyway.
Mounted routes.
Yeah, they dying to walk off. They waiting to walk off.
I love being that guy.
They gonna be mad.
And they gonna be out there for like 2
pack of lunch. Also, when you're doing a mounted route, if you're in the old LLV trucks, I know people like to have their doors open. I know there's no air conditioning in there. You can't have the doors open. That's a no-no. That's a safety hazard, not only to you, but also to the mail as well. If you're in the new Benz trucks, also one of the things you got to understand, you can't put the seatbelt behind you in any vehicle. Like, I don't understand people with the seatbelt not on. I ain't gonna call no names. The seatbelt right behind you. I ain't gonna call no names, but you know who you are. It takes you less than 5 seconds to protect your life. They're paying you for those 5 seconds. Why would you get those 5 seconds up? That should be done every time. No hanging out the window. If you can't get to a box, you can't get to the box. If you don't want to dismount from the vehicle, and if you do, you have to curve your wheels, lock your doors, make sure all of them locked, put your bag on, which we call our satchel, and then go to that box. If not, you drive that whole thing, make a block to come back for that one mailbox. Now that's a question that you can have for you and your manager, you and your supervisor, how they would like you to play. But you should not be hanging halfway and have half of your body outside of the vehicle to deliver mail. Just don't make no sense. But why would you do that? Oh, it makes it faster. I thought you was not trying to get something added to your route. But if you are, cool. Also, make sure, like LA said, you should be looking at your pink cards at every address that you have one for. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, even when you feel like you know you're right, y'all supposed to be taking them. Just to verify. Something could have changed on your off day. Something could have, you know what I'm saying? Somebody could have moved it, did whatever on your off day, and somebody updated one of your labels, but you wouldn't know that because you didn't take the labels.
And what if you get hurt on your route while you're doing your route, and somebody else got to carry the rest of your route? They're going to give your customers bad mail because you didn't put the pink cards in it. Don't give me the BS of, man, that take too much to case back in. They're paying you for every second that you're on the clock. Or they're going to add to your route.
That's actually your rear end office time.
Now,
which also looks like y'all don't have an office time on the back end because you're not even taking the mail that you're supposed to be casing back in.
Correct.
Like your pink cards.
I case in my special instruction cards, and they don't pay attention to them mugs. I'm constantly getting out mail from vacant houses, or it's a change of address. I put the names on there. They still giving the people the mail.
Sound like your people need some job discussions.
Most definitely.
Also, it's a safety thing. You gotta have your eye out for everything that's going to happen, right? So by somebody telling you it's a dog 4 houses away, that alerts you now to be watching for that dog. Or you already made in your mind, I'm not giving that house any mail, but at least now you know. And management can bring you in the office if you're not using the hazards, the safety cards, and the pink cards. That is part of your personal responsibility as being a professional carrier. They use these things, they use them tactics to pull you in the office when they mad at you. But when y'all call them y'all friend, y'all think they letting you do shortcuts. They're only hurting you in the long run. These are things to help you bolster your street numbers. Having customer service, talking to your customer, getting to know your customer. I'm not telling you to be there for 2 hours, but get to know your customers. Let them know when they're on vacation, because some of them don't know. You can put a hold on your mail. If you live in a winter states and you're going down to Florida, we can do a temporary, forward. It's a lot of things that customers don't know because we're not having communicational skills with our customers. This is your customer service mailman. Be that. You're in it. You're going to their house. Be polite. Get to know your customers, and it's going to, in turn, help your job out. Go ahead, LAFE, if y'all got anything else to add. Oh no, I got one thing. Yeah, I got one more thing. When you're doing a mounted route, you're not to leave boxes on the mailbox. You're not to leave boxes right beside the mailbox on the street. You're to dismount from your vehicle, curve your wheels, put on your parking brakes, lock your door, put on your satchel, lock your doors, check your doors, dismount, walk up to the house, knock on the door, and deliver the package. It's no different than when you're doing a parking lot. That's disrespectful to somebody else who won't pay for something, but you leave it on side of the road. Only thing left on side of the road is trash. And I don't care if they got trash bags in there. They want them to go in their house. Go ahead, LAFE.
You got something to say on that, Fee?
I don't do mounted, so y'all know I'm not good at mounted.
Well,
I'd rather
anything you got
walk.
on walking to that people should also do.
You shouldn't be walking. Your pants can't take it. But I digress.
Her feet can't take it.
With that, nah, she done bust more pants than
Oh,
I don't even know.
hey, they not made for us. They
What,
not
hold
made
on.
for us.
I'm gonna examine that for 1 second. What you mean they're not made for us? Tell the people.
They're not made for.
Say it.
They're not. I'm saying they're not gonna bait me. They're not made for us. They're not made for.
They're not made for voluptuous people.
For
So
hippie
you got
people.
thick thighs and a butt. They're not made for you, is what you're saying.
They're
If
not
you're
made
big
for
boned,
because they split in the
Okay.
same spot. Right.
All right. I just wanted to make sure you could explain that to the listening ear, so they understand why your all your pants are just busting the seams. I want them to know.
And I ain't paying for them out of my pocket. Sorry.
She said they're not like us.
Okay.
With that, dropping off your oversized packages, right? Now, depending on who you are, you already got a set thing in your head on delivery. Remember, I say you should be attempt to be doing a safe delivery, meaning you should be attempting to leave the package with the customer, which you should be doing. To each his own, but
Correct.
you should be doing. And then if not, then leave it in the safe area. If I have an oversized package, what you can do is you pull up to the house. I will leave it. Now, if I don't know the people there, so let's just say if you remember that you got an oversized package for a house, you can attempt to notify somebody right then and there when you deliver the mail. Say, hey, I'm gonna be driving back around. I got an oversized package for you. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is. Cool. If not, you pull up in front of their house, knock on the door. I'm leaving the package in because I don't know if anybody here or not. Go knock on the door, try to get someone's attention. If I don't plan on delivering it or leaving it. Now, if I'm gonna leave it, I might as well just take it with me, try to knock, and then just leave it. But if I'm not one of those people, some people don't leave their oversized packages in their neighborhoods or whatever the case is, especially if they know there's stuff going on. Then leave the package in the car. Go try to knock on the door, see if anybody answers. If not, then I'll go scan the package, notify, leave them notified. If somebody do come to the door, then I'm going back to the vehicle. Hey, I got an oversized package for you. I'm about to bring it in or bring it to you. Then go back down to the vehicle. I say that because you could be wasting a lift on bringing it the first time. And then you got to take it back when nobody answers. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't the type to leave it. That's what I'm saying. If you going to leave it no matter what, then take it. If you're not the type of person to leave it, then you need to take the first walk to see if anybody there to get their attention, which you could do the first time you did the block and delivered the mail. To let them know that you're going to come around. Then you could take it out there the first time because you know somebody going to be there. If you don't know that, you need to go check that first. If nobody answer, then notify. If somebody answers, then go get it and then bring it back to them. And if you do have the type of route that you got oversized packages, you should be taking a dolly with you for safe practices as well. You know what I'm saying? Your station should have dollies. Probably gonna have one for everybody, but if you're an older type of person or a person with injury or whatever the case is, you probably should have a dolly with you for super heavy packages or heavy packages or whatever the case, especially if you get multiples of those.
That's one thing. If you got a business route or you got to use a dolly all the time, that's one of the things I invested in. Hey, look, I want to keep my back as long as I can. So that's one thing I'll personally go out of my pocket and purchase, because at the end of the day, I can take it home and use it at home if I need to. But the post office is getting bigger and bigger packages. Amazon is getting us all the dog food, cat litter, and bed in a box that we can have. So want to save your back, you might want to get one of those. Go ahead, LA.
People ordering 5 cases of Fiji water and protein shakes now.
For real.
Grocery shopping through the regular mail system. Things like that, right? So you want to make sure you're doing it. Again, you also, if you're around businesses or know somebody with in-home businesses, you should be doing business connects. You should be attempting to talk to them, try to get their business, see if we can help them with either marketing / advertising for them if they need it. or possibly doing some type of pickup if they do some type of reselling or sending of packages or whatever the case is, or mail. Maybe they want to send some certifieds. Maybe they want to send some express. Maybe you got just selling some things so they're gonna pack packages. Hey, listen, you got packages, let me know. I'll come right back around at the end of my route or mid route or whatever the case. I'll check with you. I'll do a package pickup. That counts for you in your route. That's the other thing. A lot of y'all be having things like that and it's not reported to your station. You need to report that stuff to your station. And also, you need to be putting that on 3996 when you leave your station in the morning.
Correct.
Right. These are all the things that you should be practicing on a daily basis. Route maintenance, if you have apartments and things of that nature, you should be cleaning out your mailboxes, updating your mailboxes, and updating the taking the mail and marketing and endorsing that mail off the mailboxes every single day. Every single day.
Every day.
Route
Always.
maintenance. This is why that same stuff has to get put back at the end of your shift on office time, because you should be moving back to the office once you get back to the station. And all this stuff should be getting put back at the end of the day, right? Along with you doing whatever you might need to do, if you got to do anything with your edit books, because that's called route maintenance. There's actually a punch in the scanner, or at least it used to be. I don't know if they took it out or not, in the scanner for route maintenance. Right? You should be going to route maintenance if you got to touch your edit book. Along with that, everything else should be back on the office on the PM side. Putting your cards back up, all your cards back up, putting your whole mail back up, putting your business clothes mail back up, dispatching your outgoing mail, right, that you done picked up, or outgoing packages for business pickups or whatever the case is that you done picked up, and dispatching your endorsed mail, endorsed first class mail and your pre-sorted standard mail, so that can get back on the truck every night to go back downtown. Right, so they can get back to where it's supposed to go, where it needs to go to. And you should be doing these things daily, right? If you don't do it, then you need to be practice doing it, right? A lot of people bank on you not doing it, which is also making you faster, or making it seem like you're faster, or finishing early. They're not going to tell you to do these type of things, right? So they can add on to your route. They're going to be glad that you don't do it. That you don't carry your bag, that you don't carry your satchel, which is a safety issue, part of the uniform. You should always have your satchel, no matter if you feel like you got mail or packages in there or not. You're supposed to always have your satchel with your dog horn and dog spray. It's a safety issue, right? I don't know how people walking around and getting caught walking around without the satchel. Because if they wanted to be an a-hole, they could knock you for it. That's why, right? To each his own. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But when you get something added on because you're not doing a lot of the things that you were supposed to be doing, you're going to be feeling some type of way about that. When you can avoid that by doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, especially when it matters. Especially. And if you know you got a route adjustment coming, y'all need to start practicing this ahead of time. That way it's already muscle memory by the time they get to you. I know we as people like things, I often say something that's very pause worthy. Like to do things and get done with early. We don't like drawn out workloads. We don't like drawn out tasks, right? We like to find the easiest method to do things, and then that's what we do. But that could be hurting you currently, right? It could be hurting you currently. Whether you do the things or not, you still have the 18 blocks that you have. You still have the 20 blocks that you have. You still have the 25 or 17 blocks that you have. Whatever it is that you have, you still have that, right? Start doing what you need to do because it matters right now. Because you could be on a route that's going to get something added to it. When really, if you did everything you're supposed to do, they probably should have took something off your route. Because you might be going over about 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever the case is. But because you don't practice what you practicing, it looked like you finishing about almost an hour early. So you're like, yeah, we're going to add 30 minutes. When really, they should have took off 20 minutes. Right? This is why it matters. So watch out for route adjustments. They do have a book. You can ask your supervisor or manager to order books for your station. It's the M41 handbook. I don't know if your union has one or has them for you to get, but I do know I ordered them for my station out of eBuy when I was on the desk. I've ordered them twice.
Most stations should have them in that black binder underneath your case. Now, sometimes they don't because people don't use them or people throw stuff away, but they should be under there. That's the M41 book he's talking about.
And that book should be titled like Carriers, Responsibilities, and Duties. And it'll tell you everything that you're supposed to be doing as a carrier. As a carrier, all your duties that you didn't know. A lot of people don't practice casing in their spurs in the office, but you can case in your spurs in the office. If you didn't know that, spurs is small caseable packages, thin caseable packages, things of that nature. You're supposed to write up a 3996 for anything that took you away from doing route activities in the office, right? So anytime you have a service talk, you're technically not supposed to be working during a service talk. You're supposed to stop work. There's a punch for that in the scanner. Like standby. I don't know if it's standby. Whatever. It's a punch in there for like meeting time or whatever the case is. Whatever. I know there's one in there for standby, one there for meeting, but depending on where you at, y'all might use meeting for union stuff instead of standby or vice versa. So it depends on where you at. Just letting you know that there is a punch in the scanner for you to make when you having service talk, because you're not supposed to be working during the service talk. So you couldn't be adding 5 or 10 minutes to your office time that it shouldn't even be on there. So they might say, hey, Leonard, you went over 10 minutes in the office, but maybe I didn't punch. I mean, I had a 15-minute service talk, so I probably should be under in the office.
It is a punch for the meeting time and a stand up and the new scanners, and it's one for steward time. So it's there, sometimes you just got to know when to punch. Don't take their word for it that, oh, we're going to have a service talk. They're not going to remember 3 days later when they ask you why you go over 20 minutes. They're not going to remember it was a service talk. Even though I know everybody says you're supposed to have one every day, sometimes it's not a big deal to have one every day. Some days you can just say, work safe, be safe, understand what you got to do what you need to do. They can just say that while you're working. So just make sure, like you said, make sure you're doing the punches so you get the credit for it.
And that's not nothing new. For those of you that are new within the last few years, before we had the new scanners and we had a service talk, there would be a line at the time clock and people will be swiping to they'd be swiping to whatever the punch was back then, right, at the time clock, and then we would have a service talk and then everybody would swipe back. Right? So you got to make your punches. You're responsible for your punches as a carrier. You are responsible for your punches. Management should have to keep putting your punches in. They shouldn't keep fixing your punches. They shouldn't keep. You're responsible for your punches. Now, you're in a situation where you're just not making punches, then hopefully you can explain whenever they come to you, if they come to you. If you remember that day, hopefully be able to explain on why you went over in whatever the case is. And it might be just because you didn't make your punch. It looked like you was in the office for 8 hours. Well, I wasn't in the office. I know I moved to the office. Okay, so why you didn't make your punch? I probably forgot. I'm just going off technicality. Again, scanners for those of us that's, I'm not going to say senior because I only been in about 5.5 years. And all the scanner moves are not muscle memory to me yet, because I was still used to, when I came in, doing it on the swipe machine, swiping the card, right? And not necessarily keeping up with all the types of punches, because there's a lot of different types of punches, even training punches and things that it's like 3 or 4 different type of training punches in the scanner now. Fee, I know that. I know she done seen them.
Yeah, it's a
7.4, 7.2, 7.1, 7.3s.
Yep.
So it's a lot more punches in the scanner. Just make sure you punch it to the right thing. Collections have a scan. If you just delivering packages, has a scan. If you in travel time, has a scan. If you in this, has a scan. Technically, if you deviate from your route and you going back to the station for whatever reason, you should be moving to 622 travel time. I'm just going off technicality. Now, you don't have to, right? Because I don't always do it, but I know it's there, right? But that's the difference. If you did a lot of driving, that could have had you under. Right, when let's say one day they came to you, man, it looked like you went over on the street, but what if you had 30 minutes of travel time because they called you back to the station to pick up an express, and then while you was picking up an express, they asked you about another pack. Hey, man, can you get that's your express, but can you take this package that's by another route that's close to you and deliver that? You shouldn't even been on your route, but now you getting time calculated on your route, building up on your route, and you ain't even doing nothing on your route. The punch is for a reason. Go ahead,
also,
Coffee.
Guys who are doing collection, you're supposed to count the collection mail. You're supposed to count it. It's a volume count in there for a reason. They want to know how much that box is taking in. Do we need 2 boxes there? Maybe we don't need that box there because there's another box around the block. You can do that. So guys who are doing collection, women who's doing collection, you're supposed to be putting a volume of how many pieces or around how many pieces. I'm not going to tell you to count every letter, but you should be able to count, this 50, this 60, this 100. You should be able to do that. How many large envelopes you should be able to do that. That's something that you should be doing, because let's say we might need to take a box out. That's less maintenance we have to put towards that box and more money that we can put in more things in the post office. So that also could be the reason why, if you got a collection route, why they're going to add house-to-house delivery on your route, because you're now doing the value the way you're doing it. Or if you're collecting from, like I have a t-shirt factory inside our zone, you should be scanning all those t-shirts, unless you have the paper. You should be scanning how many ever packages that you have. That is part of that function when you're doing that. Go ahead, LA. I just want to add that.
So again, that's just a little bit, a lot of bit of the here and there. Might seem like a lot, you know what I'm saying? But good thing this will be recorded, so hopefully you can always rewind this and give it another listen if you feel like you missed anything, or pause it on the first run or second run and take notes, or again, contact somebody, either your supervisor, manager. They can order the books out of eBay, the M41 handbook, M as in Mike -41 handbook, or see if the union has them if they're not in your route in your edit books. Now I know for a fact ours is not in the edit books, because the book I ordered is like almost a half an inch thick, and we don't
They
have
should
no half
always,
an inch.
but they also can go on the union website. They should be able to go on the union website and look it up as well.
That's correct.
Yeah, go on the union website and look up M41. It'll all pop up.
No, listen. She paid off. She a union, so don't listen to that. Make your management work for the money that they make. They make 79 to about 90-some thousand. Make them order the books, because let's not pretend like we read a lot of digital activities.
We don't
on these phones, y'all. Y'all gonna download that PDF and you're not gonna read
for
it.
For real.
It's a higher chance of you being in having the physical book and looking through that, because you have it. And again, you want to make your supervisor work and earn the pay that they give you. You can't make everything too easy. That's why if something added to my route, I will be bringing back mail ahead of time. Tell them I said that I'm going to be doing that, because I know how to carry mail. On my best days, I know how to carry mail, and something coming back, and they can figure it out.
So,
all right.
So
which again, once they do y'all route adjustments, y'all should be doing. Now, what's going to hurt us is people who love overtime to a degree. It's going to hurt us a little bit. But as long as they max, then it won't hurt us. It's going to hurt management when I put this mail on the floor, because coffee ain't what are you going to take, 13, 14? Your PTF's max. I'm putting this back on the floor. Y'all ain't got somebody to do it.
Black Knight for a reason.
Now you done moved out 3 or 4 or 5 carriers.
I'm cool with being out there 14,
depending on how
15 hours.
Now you know they're not going to approve you being out there that long. But that's to put them in the position.
Put the mail back on.
I got to do my part. Put them in the position. They gotta rethink what they did. Why we in this position with this mail on the floors? Because you took 3, 4 routes out, so we lost 3 or 4 bodies in the station. And now you ain't got the bodies to do this mail. You got to figure that out. Either or you got to prove coffee that 13 hour. Because I ain't doing this out
in the dark. I'm that guy with the headlamp on coming down your street. I don't even mind. Let's get it. You want to give it to me? Let's get it. I got kids to feed.
Now, for those of you, let me get the camera focused, to think I might just be being an a-hole just to be a a-hole, right? That's not the case. Now, I will say, if they tell me I got the overtime in the morning, up to 2 hours, because I don't get forced over 2. I volunteer over 2. You can't force me over 2. That's never gonna happen. But you could definitely ask me. and I'd be gladly to do over 2 if need be, as long as I know in the morning, right? In the morning, if I say something and I bring it up and they say, you know what I'm saying, do it as overtime, then hey, they forced me for the hour and a half, whatever it was that I possibly would have brung back or whatever the case is. Then they got me, you know what I'm saying? Because as a non-violent, I can get forced up to 2 hours. I can't get forced in the penalty, meaning I can get forced 2 hours of overtime. So I got no problem with that. But if they don't say nothing, and at the end of my shift, when I come back here at like a little after 3, then I take my last 10-minute break and I do my cleanup. It's about 3:20 and stuff. I'm not doing this hour. Now they gonna say, hey man, you gotta do this. I ain't gotta do nothing. Can't be forced at the end of my shift. I already made plans, and I told y'all at 12 when I sent this Rams message to you that I was not gonna be able to complete this. I already made plans. That's not my fault if you sent 3 or 4 routes out. So we lost 3 or 4 people, and everybody else is max. It got nothing to do with me. Y'all got to figure that out. And that's what it's gonna be. I'm gonna put it back on the floor. I gotta show the system that it ain't working. I'm at least get 2 people back in.
Look,
I could probably get, if I do my part, I can try to get 2 people back in. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna take more than just me. It's gonna take more. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take a station to get it reverted back to the way it was.
Also, if let's say if you're the person who's like, well, I'm just gonna do the overtime, even though they added 3 hours to my route, and I believe that they're gonna make me have 11 hours. You're gonna have to do 11 hours. You gotta do it. You can't go out there and say, well, I'm gonna do these 3 hours in an hour. No. That ain't helping. That ain't how you win the fight. Because then that means they're just gonna take 1 hour off your route, so you ain't getting the whole route back. If they're gonna give you 3 hours off another route, you got to do 3 hours out there. And I want y'all to be very understanding. Let me make this crystal clear. We ain't doing this for play. This is real. They trying to mess with your money now. How you feed your babies, how you take care of mama, how you take care of the crib. You like riding good? Hey, put that mail back on the floor every time. Don't care what they do. Put it back on the floor every time until they put them routes back in your station. And then, hey, there you go. You get your people back. And one thing we didn't say, when they take routes out of your station, that means less PTFs you're going to have. So when you want to take a vacation and you want to know why your route messed up when you come back, because you ain't have no PTFs that's from your station doing your route. Also, guess what? You know, when the clerks can't throw the package fast enough, they're going to take more clerks out of your station because you don't have enough routes to qualify you to have another clerk there. And you already know how bad some managements are in some stations. So guess what? You're going to have less supervisor management crew there. So making it even worse. So this is a whole thing. Even management needs to be thinking about this. It's not just a carrier thing or a clerk thing. This is a post office thing. You should be thinking about, hey, let them take routes out. All right, then. So when it's time to do more work from the desk, I don't want you to hear, it's just me. Guess what? That's what you made it.
Now, that's also take note of this, right? For stations that might have attendance issues, right? If they do a route adjustment and you lose, let's just say 4 routes, you're going to lose 5 people. If there's a body for all those routes, you're going to lose 5 people because you're going to lose the 4 routes, the 4 carriers on those routes. But that's also going to put you down in another utility. So you're going to lose 5 bodies, right? Let's say you still got the attendance issue. Now, when you select overtime, when they pass out overtime, they're going to pass out more mail because all the routes are over what they were. So if you have 5 call-ins, that's probably the equivalent to 8 routes instead of the 5 because all those routes got extra splits on them. You know what I'm saying? So you got to remember that. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We'll see. Before we get up out of here, anybody else got anything to add? Again, take notes. Read your handbooks. Use your tools. Go to your union meetings. Talk to your stewards. Talk to your safety captains. With any information. They are doing meetings for stations with upcoming route adjustments. They do have union meetings that well, I'm assuming that's everybody, or everybody will have this, for you to know what to look for and things of that nature. Make sure you go to that meeting if you don't know how to properly carry mail. By properly meaning maybe you was never trained on doing all the extras by your trainee because maybe they just didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time, and training is only lasting 3, 4, 5 days anyway. So maybe it just wasn't enough time to train you on every single thing or whatever the case is. So don't feel bad about that. Go to the meeting, get whatever knowledge you can. Talk to your stewards, talk to your, safety captains, get whatever information you can. Ask for the handbook, the M41. Again, M41, Mike-41 handbook. Ask them to print it out. You can go get the PDF. You can look it up online if it's not in your edit book. Your route edit books, which is your black books at your case. If you don't have the black books, they might be in clear sleeves at your case, maybe hanging up, or maybe in the slot that's at your case if it's not in a drawer. Or again, ask your station, can they order y'all some? And watch out, man. Watch out. Don't let somebody run your route off when you off work, i.e. Michael Dupree. You know what I'm saying? And then you want to cry and complain about it after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Because it can happen. It could be you. It could be.
Also,
go ahead, Coffee.
Also, safety captains. Also, make sure that when they're doing the route inspection, that you let your people know that they don't have to do anything that's unsafe that they don't want to do. As I apologize, everybody. This is one of my young ones who I work so hard for. But make sure as a safety inspector that you're doing your due diligence to make sure that they're not making your carriers do anything that's unsafe. Make sure that you are letting management know if they're asking you to do something crazy. If they're telling you got to cross the grass when it happens, you don't have to. They're telling you got to run the mail off or finger the mail while you're walking, you don't have to. At that point in time, you turn around firmly and let them know you're here to inspect what I'm doing. You have to be a silent person here. You don't like I'm doing something, I write it down. Let my management staff know, and then we'll go at that point in time. But you shouldn't.
And you are to set your own pace. They can't pace you. You have to pace them.
Correct. So that's one of the things you should be able to do, and understand that you're working for your family, not for somebody else, and that way you'll have a great day every day.
Hey, look, on the bright side, they do a route adjustment, and this is to customers who listen. Make sure you share this with customers. They do the route adjustment, and we put the mail on the floor.
You're gonna get your mail.
It's not the end of the day, man. You put the mail on the floor. Customers, don't be upset. I can't do 10 hours in 8 hours, but they're gonna be expecting me to. My family don't eat on free anything. I can't buy nothing with free nowadays. You know what I'm saying? They can either pay me the 2 hours to do the overtime, or I can put it back on the floor and I can go to my second job during those other 2 hours. I can go do a side gig for those other 2 hours. I can be recording my podcast and building my whatever the case, doing those other 2 hours. Been walking 8 blocks and dealing with possibly getting hassled, harassed, or bit by a dog for what I'm gonna say was free. Management won't say that, but I'm gonna say it for free. And it ain't gonna happen. Right? And I'm not finna run. I twisted my ankle multiple times. I gotta tear my meniscus. I'm not running for nothing. And that's the other. I don't walk across no grass. I don't roll my ankles. And what happened is I should be suing some of y'all customers when we have accidents on y'all grass. We should be suing y'all. Technically, it's your property, but we don't do that. We need to start. Hey, customers, get that motorcycle off your walkway. Please. Right? It is your lawn. Now I don't know why y'all do that. I'm not saying a lot of y'all do it, but I done been on other people's routes. It don't happen on my route. I don't know if anybody has a motorcycle on my route, but I've been on other people's walks, and people just park the motorcycle right on the walkway in front of the stairs. Like, what am I supposed to do? They
want you to take it for a test drive.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm for sale. It is your lawn, right? I'm gonna give you this. If I get ready to walk to your walkway, right? So I'm counting the sidewalk, which is the sidewalk, and the walkway is your path to your house from the sidewalk. That's the walkway. That's the path, right? If I start to walk on your path, on your walkway, and I can smell animal mess, you're not getting no mail, bro. I get dizzy. The animal manure make me want to kind of vomit a little bit. It ain't happening. Carriers can bypass your house. They can bypass your house if that type of stuff is a problem or problematic. Things on your porch problematic. You got spiders all over your bushes is problematic. You got a bird's nest. You know what I'm saying? Birds have attacked carriers before, or just people coming up to a house, especially once they have babies and things like that in the nest. Or any animal that have babies, if you come around it, they prone to attack or attempt to attack, no matter how small they are, right? Most carriers will not deliver your mail. Right? Now, it is your property, and you can do whatever you want, but I got the right not to deliver because it's a safety issue for me.
I'm not going to deliver.
And you can just pick your mail up at the post office for a period of time before you end up having to get a PO box.
Because I'm sending it back in 10 days.
You know what I'm saying? I can't do anything about that. I can't do anything about that. You know what I'm saying? Carriers have fears too. Some people have arachnophobia where they have a very high fear of spiders. You know what I'm saying? They fear small animals, rodents, whatever the case is. They do what they got to do, but they're not about to keep taking too many L's.
No, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? First thing happen is if something happened to you, you get injured, then management try to negate the fact that you got on the job duty injury, and then somehow you was working unsafe. Did you somehow enrage the raccoon that chased you?
Right.
Hey, hey y'all. While we had a PTF, he got chased by a raccoon the other day. He hopped on the garbage can thinking it was a good idea. Right? Listen. Now I'm not gonna everybody knows. Seasoned people know, and people that has a different level of thinking can already picture it, right? When you run towards something, there's a lot of momentum for that, right? You can't run full speed, hop up on a garbage can, and think that as soon as you get on the garbage can, everything's gonna be fine. The momentum is gonna push the garbage can down. It's gonna push it to the side because you ran straight. You know what I'm saying? You're running. Think about this. And you're running top speed or 20 miles an hour to get on something, right? You just ain't gonna land on it and then it just end. That's why people jump on cars and things. I'm not telling you jump on nobody's car. I'm just saying you gotta do what you gotta do though. He jumped on the garbage can, running from the squirrel. Squirrel actually chased, run from the garbage can. The garbage can follow. He on the ground. Squirrel on him. Squirrel on him.
I would have died.
He lost his mind. He just threw his bag. He threw his bag at the raccoon and everything. His spray and everything on the bag. He threw his bag at it and everything.
I would have died. Y'all know I would have died.
I think he ended up having like a growing pool or something like that.
I would have died. I would have been dead right on the route.
From shock?
You know it.
You're gonna be on World Star.
I wouldn't care.
When raccoon attacks go wrong.
Y'all know I'm scared of spiders, birds, ants, anything.
See? So Fee, if you get mail, make sure you don't live on Fee route. Because if Fee see anything other than a dog, other than a small dog, you don't get nothing. Anything. Birds, squirrels, ants, insects.
And you already know if a cat comes, they ain't get nothing.
Even the cat, she don't mess with
Me
cats.
neither.
Anything other than a dog.
No
Fee will walk up to a big dog before she walk up to anything else.
Yep, I go to the dog before I will the cat.
So, I don't know what to tell y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just make sure again. I'm only going to be on your property about 10, 15 seconds. On your block, maybe 10, 15 minutes or something, maybe 20 minutes, depending on the split, man. I try to keep your animals and rodents in check a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes stop leaving out food on your porch. Some people be having like, I got this one house. I don't think that the cats are theirs because they have a dog.
It's the alley cats.
I think they just feed straight cats though. But they feed them. Like they leave food in their driveway and on the porch in like bowls for the cats. So anytime I walk up, it's like 3 cats can be at their house at one point in time.
Horrible.
Like straight cats. You can tell they got, you know what I'm saying? Like you can tell it's straight cats.
Horrible.
They ain't getting no mail.
Lucky I ain't got a fear of cats or nothing like that. But anywho, we're gonna end it with there, man. That's what the gist of route adjustment. That's what you should be doing if your station has oncoming route adjustments. Do anybody want to touch on for at least maybe 5 minutes, or if not less, that they need to add on or feel like they want to add on about consolidated stations? That's not really a thing like route adjustments. You know what I'm saying? That's just a quick management wants to down size in money. They want to cancel some of their expenses. If you didn't know, a lot of the stations that they have, they don't own. They lease a lot of stations. And typically for the from what I was told from the government side of things, they have to do these leases for like 20 years on average. They could do more, but from what I've heard them, I don't know if what they've been doing the last 10 years or anything that's ended in the last 10 years, but prior to that, they was doing like 20 plus year contracts because they want to make sure when they get in the property that they can be there long term, right? They're not trying to have like a home lease and then have to find another post office a year later and then a year later and a year later, because they're going to adjust things to the building for it to suit their needs, right? So one thing they're trying to do is consolidate multiple stations that's close to in range to one building as these leases end, so they don't have to do those long-term leases no more per se, or so many long-term leases, right? So they're trying to put in at some point in time around the country multiple stations in one building. That's consolidated stations, right? We have one here we call West Milwaukee, and it's probably going to be in
It's the
other
most
places,
horrible
right?
station we have here.
Well, you know it's
It's
already
the
in
most
Atlanta.
horrible station we have.
It's
I
already
know
in Atlanta.
they got the people going crazy there.
Well,
Now
they said we up next.
we do have two other ones, maybe three, but I don't know if those stations was consolidated or if they've just always been together. Like Coffee Station has 2 zip codes, but I don't know if they was ever separate stations or if they just always
Right.
been together.
Well,
Same
see what
thing
it
with Fred
is. What they're
John,
saying
same thing with Hilltop.
What they're saying it's about to be 5 stations combined into one big facility to try to eliminate, because I guess half of the rigs are half full. So it's going to eliminate some of the truck driver jobs as well. And so from how my supervisor just explained it to us is we're going to be gated in with the distribution company, the 5 stations, and it's going to cut down on the truck driving as well. So I guess we're up next, so from what he told us, to try it out. And then I guess they're going to have a separate plant that they're also in the making of building now, because the new vehicles are set to come here to us. But the post office got all this money for all these new vehicles and everything, but we still ain't got no contract and ain't being paid. Make it make sense to me.
Well, I think it's
when Amazon just bumped their drivers up to $30 an hour.
I think it's going to be, with everything, you got to do some kind of changes. I'm not going to say we should be changing as radical as quickly as we're changing, but all change is not bad change, and everything in life must evolve. And I understand the frustration and customers' frustration and carriers, but all things must change at some point in time. We must evolve, and evolution must take place. So I'm not going to say we should be doing it. I think we should be doing certain things quickly, certain things we should be taking small steps. So things will change, things will get better, things will get worse, and then they will get somewhat better, then they'll get worse, and then they'll get better in the long run. So I think it's a place for it, but I don't know if every state can sustain having that done as quickly as Postmaster DeJoy wants to. So as things go, things will happen, things will not be able to do as much, but we will see. Motivation thought of this episode coming from the Black Knight Corner is, and I wish and I hope that the post office would adopt this. It does not matter how slow you go, so as long as you don't stop. That's what we should be doing. Doesn't matter how slow you go, just as long as you don't stop. And that's how we should be doing the route inspections. That's how we should be doing the consolidation of stations. Slowly but surely, we'll get to where we need to go to. Motivation start of the day. Hope that gives somebody some motivation to go in there and face that tough Monday that we're about to have. And make sure you continue to, if you're not, already subscribe to listen to us every Monday, make sure you go out and do that. Make sure you go ahead and jump into the group in Twitter. X, formerly known as Twitter. Make sure you stop by and leave us a message. Let us know things that you would like us to talk about. And, Let's get this work week started off like no other. Hopefully everybody be safe. Do the safe things always. Work safely, not fastly, but safely. Go ahead, turn it over to Fee and LA.
I don't know, Fee, you ain't working tomorrow, not?
Oh no, I'm gonna be asleep.
Part-timer.
What you gotta say
She
about that,
always
Coffee?
part-time. Her and Michael
Nothing.
Dupree is always on that part-time stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no. It's my route off day, and I deserve it. I had a rough week. I deserve it. I went through hell these last 2 weeks. Not to mention, guys, I'm an on-the-job trainer as well at the union
Be
school.
quiet.
I like excuses.
No, I work hard.
With that, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all stopping by. Appreciate y'all listening. Make sure you get this information. The information is for you. The information is for y'all. We're trying to draw awareness to particular situations. Give out the information for those of you that's currently in the post office. Those of you who will be in the post office 6 months from now can go back and get this information a year from now. That group, and a year from that point in time, whatever that group is information to be here for you to get. With that said, we're going to get up out of here. Again, make sure you subscribe, subscribe to Postal Blue Podcast. Make sure you can check out all of our podcasts under Amazing Studios. You can also check us out on look at that little coffee. One of the little coffees. On you can check out Amazing Studios. That's spelled AMAZAN. Amazing Studios on our YouTube channel. Under Amazing Studios, all of our podcasts will be over there. You can also subscribe to us on all streaming platforms. And then again, check out the group Postal Blue Podcast on Twitter, currently known as X. Make sure if you find any of this helpful and enjoyable content, that you hit us with a rating on whatever the streaming platform that you're using. That's all we ask for, right? Like, share, subscribe, rate us, let us know what's up. Use the group to ask questions, get answers. You can be featured on upcoming episodes, or we could talk about a specific subject that you want us to talk about if you need to get some type of information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. With that, we're gonna get up out of here. Congrats to another show. Congrats to my to Coffee on another episode. Fee on another episode. I am your boy LA Styles. Y'all make sure to follow us, and we'll be back, man.
I am your boy Black Knight
Hopefully
24.
we have a better week than last. Hopefully all y'all have a better week than your last week, and hopefully we just get better from week to week at the jobs. Hopefully the job get better from week to week. Winter is coming. We will have those 2 shows coming. They're going to be probably 0.5s because we're leaving the summer, so we might hit winter safety first and then heat safety. That's just for you guys to get just basic heat and winter safety information.
Yes, sir.
And let you know what gear you probably should be looking for, what works and what don't work. So those are going to be very short episodes. And I want to keep them separated again, so I don't want anything to get lost in combining those 2.
Correct.
With that, we're going to get up out of here, man. Appreciate y'all. The views is looking real nice. The shorts is doing very well, so you guys are clearly enjoying that. And we're going to keep on keeping on, that is.
Yeah, make sure y'all follow Amazing Studios on TikTok as well.
Thanks. Yeah, TikTok, Instagram. Yeah, we out here, man. Or at least trying to be. Get that information. Sharing is caring.
Always.
You can find the information useful. Your friends, coworkers find the information useful. Your customers can find the information useful. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way we gonna build this community to get back to help the post office get back to what it used to be at a point in time that we're clearly have strayed away from a long time ago, right? Which is community and customer driven. So we got to get back there, man. Hopefully 2024 is the starting point of that. And with that, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Appreciate you. Love. Peace.